led by the Honorable Dr. Lina Kilimo Jebeli, the Chief Administrative Secretary, Minister of Public Service and Gender, State Development for Gender in Kenya. You're most welcome. Very powerful team there. I know that we have colleagues from the Anti-FGM Board of Kenya and other delegates from the ministry that deals with these affairs in Kenya. You're most welcome. Karibu sana. Ladies and gentlemen, we also have Somalia here with us. A round of applause for them. Led by the Honorable Hanifa Mohammed Ibrahim, Minister of Women and Human Rights Development. You're most welcome, Honorable, and your team. With us also is a team from Ethiopia. Round of applause for Ethiopia. And the team from Ethiopia is led by Belete. I'll seek for the right pronunciation for the second name, but he's the Director, Child Rights, and he's representing the Minister of State for Women and Children Affairs. You're most welcome with your delegation. I want to think that if Ethiopia was the last delegation to come in late in the night, I got a message. I want to thank you that you made it here. Thank you so much for that effort. Ladies and gentlemen, we have partners we work with in this cause, and allow me to recognize the presence of representatives from UNFPA. You're most welcome, sir. We also have representatives from UNICEF. UNICEF team. There we are. Thank you so much. I know that UNFPA, we have the deputy representative. You're most welcome, sir. And UNICEF is led by the head of social protection. We have ministries represented here. Ministries in Uganda. Oh, yes. In the due course, we were joined by the Honorable Minister of State for Youth and Children Affairs in the Republic of Uganda, the Honorable Sarah Mateke. You're most welcome. When you talk about FGM, you're largely talking about the children. Children because they're the ones that are led into the practice many times against their will. When we went to Karamoja region on an MP's familiarization visit, we met young girls who were decamped and sought refuge at a school, a missionary school, because they were being forced into the practice. So having the Honorable Minister in charge of Children Affairs is noteworthy. You're most welcome, Honorable. Ladies and gentlemen, also here with us are ministries, departments, and agencies in Uganda that are partners in this fight. We have the UPDF, that is the Uganda People's Defense Forces. We have the Uganda Police Force here with us. We have representatives from the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, been very active. I think they have spent the last 24 hours of their schedule running between the airport and the hotel and the venue here, doing a brilliant job. We also have a strong team from the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development, from the department that deals with this issue directly, the Department of Gender and Women Affairs. We have the Commissioner herself, Madam Angela Nakafero. Please, if you could wave to the delegates. We also have with us here district representatives from Kapchora. Can I see the team from Kapchora? Stand up and wave to the delegates, please. Thank you so much for coming. Kapchora, for our visitors, is a region that borders Kenya in the eastern side of Uganda. If they stood up to say hi, our colleagues on the Kenyan side would be at home. They would need no translation. You're most welcome. We also have delegates from Kwen district. Please stand up and wave to the delegates. There you are. Same region. And then we have delegates from Amudat. The Amudat team, wave to us, please. Thank you so much. Thank you for turning up. I know that we have a strong representation from the Sabine cultural leaders. Sabine cultural leaders, if you wave to our delegates, we'll be very glad. Thank you so much. There you are. We have a representation from the faith-based organizations, and the Church of Uganda is here represented. Church of Uganda delegates, you could wave to us. Okay, there they are. And then we have CSOs working with these members of the CSO fraternity. Please stand up and wave to the delegates, the different CSOs. There you are. I can see Honorable Dora there from the Law and Advocacy Uganda. You're most welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, this meeting is a dual or a two-pronged format meeting with a physical attendance here, but also with a strong representation online. I would like to inform you that the delegation from Tanzania is online, and I would like to recognize their presence. Can we have a round of applause for the Tanzanian delegation that is online? I guess the IT team will be facilitating us later to have some videos. I know they have converged at a particular hotel in Dar es Salaam, and would look forward to having the images from that point of meeting screened here so that we link up rightly so. We're also going to be having a couple of presentations online from our partners, the regional offices for UNICEF and the regional offices for UNFPA. We shall get there at that moment. But for now, allow us start off by all of us being upstanding, and we do the anthems, starting with the Ugandan anthem. Let's be upstanding. East Africa anthem. Thank you so much. Let's stay upstanding for a word of prayer, and I request the microphone to be passed to Grace, UNFPA, so she can lead us in a very quick prayer. Technical team, please pass the microphone to Grace over there for a quick prayer.
Let's humble ourselves in prayer. Father Almighty, we thank you for this day, for this conference. Thank you for bringing us together safely. Father, as we deliberate on issues that affect our nation and our nations in general, Father, give us the wisdom, give us the conviction to do the right things, to make the right decisions. We pray all this believing and trusting in you. Amen.
Thank you so much. We could take our seats. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, allow me to welcome you to this inter-ministerial cross-border meeting that provides a platform to review progress towards implementation of the Inter-Ministerial Declaration on Cross-Border Action Plan on ending female genital mutilation practices across the borders, with particular attention on the 4 key pillars that involve 1, legislation and policy, 2, coordination and collaboration, 3, communication and advocacy and evidence, and lastly, data and research. Ladies and gentlemen, as we converge here today, we are going to be sharing how we have seen this come to fruition. It's a declaration that was committed to by all the countries represented here today, and we shall be delving into what we have so far achieved, what is left, and how do we get to achieve what is left. So once again, you're most welcome to this critical meeting. We are going to be physically here with us. We are going to be conducting all sessions in line with the standard operating procedures for the prevention of the spread of COVID-19. The times are difficult. It's still a difficult moment. And therefore, ladies and gentlemen, we have very strong guidance from the Health Committee that as we do everything that we do through these 2 days of converging here, let's remember to observe the standard standard operating procedures. Key of them, ensure that you always have your mask on. 2, ensure that you have a sanitizer near you, and if you don't have, please, we shall be providing those through the due course. But regularly have your hands sanitized. Never know what you touched at what moment. The moment you sanitize could be a life-changing moment for you. So ladies and gentlemen, let's stick to those standard operating procedures. And for any reference, please refer to the information pack that we shared earlier online and will be provided in the due course of this conference. Allow me delve straight into our opening session without wasting much time. And in doing that, I would like to take this opportunity to invite the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Gender, Labor and Social Development of the Republic of Uganda, Mr. Agri David Chibenge, to welcome us to this conference. A round of applause as we welcome the Permanent Secretary.
The Honorable Minister of Gender, Labor and Social Development, who is the host at this meeting, Honorable Peace Regis Mutuzo, MP, the Honorable leaders of delegation from the Republic of Kenya, Honorable Dr. Lina Jehi Kilimo, Chief Administrative Secretary, Ministry of Public Service and Gender State Development for the Honorable Minister Hanifa Mohamed Ibrahim, Minister of Women and Human Rights Development in the Republic of Somalia, Mr. Berete Dangi, representing the Minister of State for Women and Children Affairs in the Federal Republic of Ethiopia, the Minister in charge of Women Affairs in the United Republic of Tanzania, would like to recognize your presence since you are attending the meeting online. Honorables, to say I am Naumo Juliana Akorio, standing in for the Permanent Secretary, Mr. Agure David Chibenge. I'm sure many of you were saying, is that lady called David? So we'd like to thank you and welcome you for coming to Uganda. Honorable members of Parliament present, the country representative, UNFPA, the country representative, UNICEF, all the counterparts of UNFPA and UNICEF at the regional level, representatives of government ministries, departments and agencies, representatives of cultural and religious institutions attending this meeting, the district local government representatives here today, civil society partners, the media, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning to all of you. I am delighted to welcome you to the third regional interministerial cross-border meeting to end female genital mutilation in our region. Ladies and gentlemen, in 2018, during the global conference that sat in Ouagadougou in Burkina Faso, Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania, and Somalia made a tripartite initiative to end cross-border FGM in the region. Similarly, the adoption of the inaugural regional interministerial meeting held in April 2019 in Mombasa, Kenya, was a historical meeting in which the 5 countries represented in this meeting today, that is the Federal Republic of Ethiopia, the Republic of Kenya, the Republic of Somalia, the United Republic of Tanzania, and Uganda, came together and signed a declaration to put an end to cross-border FGM. The meeting recommended that joint actions needed to be reaffirmed to have a strong partnership at all levels in addressing this harmful practice. To this end, a plan of action was developed and 4 result areas emanated from the regional declaration as follows. 1, improved legislation and policy framework so as to end cross-border female genital mutilation. 2, effective and efficient coordination and collaboration among national governments to end female genital mutilation within the borders. 3, communication and advocacy to end female genital mutilation prevention and response. And 4, strengthen capacity by national governments, academia, and statistical offices to generate and use evidence and data for addressing cross-border female genital mutilation. Similarly, the African leaders during the 32nd African Union Summit adopted a declaration on galvanizing political commitment towards the elimination of female genital mutilation in Africa by 2030. Ladies and gentlemen, this meeting today is based on those aforementioned commitments and will therefore focus on providing an opportunity for member states here present to reflect on the progress they have made on the implementation of the Mombasa Declaration and Action Plan, as well as setting new milestones to end FGM in the region. The expected outcomes in this meeting, therefore, are threefold. One, to get progress updates and action taken by the partner states on the implementation of the Mombasa Declaration and Action Plan. Secondly, to make recommitments and actions to end FGM across the borders, particularly in the context of COVID-19. And finally, to generate an advocacy message for the adoption by the media on ending cross-border FGM. Honorable leaders of delegation, ladies and gentlemen, it's my wish that the deliberations of this meeting will be fruitful and will be able to renew our commitment towards the effort of ending female genital mutilation in the region. Allow me to extend our sincere appreciation to all the leaders of delegation for ensuring you join us in this meeting and that we shall be able to move our agenda forward towards the elimination of FGM. I would also like to extend a word of appreciation to the UN agencies, especially UNFPA and UNICEF, for supporting the activities towards this meeting today, and more so, supporting the government of Uganda for a number of years in addressing issues to do with harmful practices in the country. I would also like to most sincerely thank the members of the National Organizing Committee of Gender, Labor and Social Development. I would like to appreciate all your support, including all the other ministries, departments, and MDAs. You've done an excellent work, and I would therefore like to request that the members of the National Organizing Committee could get up, wave to our ministers present, and then you could take your seat. Members of the National Organizing Committee. Thank you very much. And the team was led by Angela Nakafero, who is the Commissioner for Gender and Women Affairs in the ministry. And with those remarks, I would like to once again welcome you, honorable ministers and leaders of delegation, to Uganda, the Pearl of Africa. Feel at home. I now take this opportunity to wish you good deliberations for God and my country.
Thank you so much, the representative of the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Gender, Labor and Social Development in Uganda. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me, before we have our next speaker, allow us join us, our colleagues in Tanzania, just to say hi. Please, IT team, can we have our colleagues Tanzania? They are listening to us, together with us, online, and we just want to say hi to them, to know that we are together. IT team. Yes, there we are, online. Tanzania, good morning. You could wave to us. There you are. Thank you so much. The team from Tanzania is led by the Deputy Minister, the Minister of Health, Community Development, Gender, Elder and Children, the Honorable Mwanaidi Ali Kamis. We'd like to thank you so much, Tanzanian team, for being here with us for this noble conference. Allow us to continue to the next program on the agenda, and allow me to take this rare opportunity to invite the Deputy Country Representative, UNFPA Uganda, Mr. Daniel Alemu, to come and speak to us. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning. Honorable Minister, Peace Regis Mutuzo, Minister of State for Gender and Cultural Affairs of the Republic of Uganda, Honorable Ministers here present of the 5 member states, Honorable Members of Parliament here present, Honorable delegates from government ministries, departments, and agencies, regional directors from UN agencies present online, and if I may mention the regional director for UNFPA Eastern and Southern Africa, Dr. Bennett Nyadabangi, and the regional director of UNICEF for Eastern and Southern Africa, Mr. Muhammad Foul, religious and cultural leaders, representatives of development partners, representatives of civil society organizations, all UN agency representatives, members of the media, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed, a very pleasant morning. I am honored and humbled to represent UNFPA Uganda at this important event to take stock of the progress that the East African region and the Horn of Africa have made in the efforts to eliminate female genital mutilation in accordance with the 2019 Mombasa Declaration and the costed Regional Action Plan to end FGM. Globally, it is estimated that 200 million girls and women have undergone some form of FGM in 30 countries to date. A practice that is severely harmful to women and girls and continues to cause serious injuries to millions of women and girls across the world and in Africa. The African Union Heads of State and Government decision on galvanizing political commitment towards the elimination of FGM in Africa called on member states to achieve zero female genital mutilation by 2030. In line with this decision, we must therefore ensure that the fight against FGM is no longer confined within national boundaries, but is also conducted across borders. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, today we are witnessing a remarkable milestone in translating this political commitment into concrete action. Just over 2 weeks ago, the report on the study on FGM among the cross-border communities and the costed Regional Action Plan to end FGM in Ethiopia, Kenya, Somalia, Tanzania, and Uganda was launched. The report, which is the first ever regional research in East and Southern Africa on the magnitude of FGM within the cross-border communities, in the 5 countries, highlights the importance of intergovernmental collaboration in the journey to end FGM by 2030. As such, with this event today, we're breathing life into the Mombasa Declaration and the Regional Action Plan. Allow me at this juncture to commend the exemplary leadership of the Republic of Uganda and personal leadership of Honorable Minister Peace Regis Mutuzo, who continues to fulfill her commitment made during the inaugural inter-ministerial meeting in April 2019 in Mombasa to host the annual inter-ministerial meeting on cross-border FGM. That is despite the challenges brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic. For over a decade, UNFPA and UNICEF have worked in partnership with the government of Uganda to implement the global UN joint program to eliminate FGM, which is currently in its 3rd phase. The joint program works with communities to transform social norms from within, while partnering with governments to promote laws banning the practice, to ensure that girls have access to quality information and services for child protection and sexual and reproductive health. The program has registered tremendous achievements. Allow me to name few. Strengthening the cross-border surveillance to curb cross-border FGM between Kenya and Uganda. In 2020, the Kenya National Police Service, together with the Uganda National Police Service, worked together to rescue 12 girls who had crossed into Kenya from Uganda to undergo FGM. Secondly, reduction of FGM prevalence, taking the example of Uganda from 1.4% in 2011 to 0.3% in 2016. Thirdly, increasingly progressive legal and policy environments where most countries across the region have legislations prohibiting FGM with costed national and regional action plans for FGM abandonment. Fourthly, good regional practices that could be replicated and scaled up, such as the commitment by the Ugandan government to allocate $55,000 annually to support interventions to end FGM. Fifth, the results of the multi-country study on FGM that was recently launched in November 2021 demonstrated, with all the collective efforts of the countries, an actual reduction in the number of FGM circumcisers. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the Regional Action Plan will support the actualization of not only the Salima Initiative, which called on the elimination of cross-border FGM, but also Aspiration 6 of the Africa we want. With less than a decade remaining to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals, including SDG Target 5.3 on the elimination of harmful practices, now more than ever, this is the moment of turning our words into reality for women and girls by implementing this Regional Action Plan. I would therefore like to encourage countries gathered here today to first increase domestic resources for the implementation of the regional and national action plans for the abandonment of FGM, empower youth to help end FGM and espouse social norms that promote gender equality, women's empowerment, and universal access to sexual reproductive health information and services. Thirdly, empower women and girls towards bodily autonomy so that they're able to make decisions that affect their lives and futures. Now is the time to fulfill our promise to all our women and girls of reaching zero FGM by 2030, also in line with the Nairobi Summit Declaration and Outcome, the ICPD Summit. Allow me finally to thank you all for your presence here today and for your joint commitment to end FGM. UNFPA Uganda remains committed to support the implementation of the costed action plan to end cross-border FGM and support all efforts to reach zero FGM by 2030. I thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Daniel, there for those remarks from UNFPA, and I'd like to add my voice to those who appreciate the work that UNFPA is doing in Uganda, and specifically in the fight to eliminate FGM. I'll tell you for sure that some honorable members of parliament did not know the extent of FGM until UNFPA sponsored them to go to the field and listen to the testimonies of the survivors. I can assure you that those MPs that were on that trip returned totally different, with a different mindset about this issue. Up to date, they are strong advocates for the elimination of FGM. So I'd like to thank UNFPA once again for the effort you put into this fight of eliminating FGM in Uganda. Ladies and gentlemen, at this juncture, allow me take this rare honor to invite the Honorable Minister of State for Gender and Cultural Affairs, the Republic of Uganda, the Honorable Mutuzo Peace Regis, to deliver her remarks. You're most welcome, Honorable. A round of applause as she comes in.
Your Excellencies, Honorable Ministers from Uganda and partner states, Honorable Members of Parliament, the country representative, UNFPA and UNICEF, Save the Children, representatives of government, ministries, departments and agencies, representatives of traditional and cultural and religious institutions, representatives of civil society organizations, the media fraternity, distinguished participants, both physical and online. I am delighted that after 2 solid years of a lockdown, we are able to reconverge physically to discuss and feel the situation of FGM from each other neighbor's perspective as it stands today. And I'm so honored that the heads of departments, delegations have been laid by ministries, line ministers. And allow me to welcome in a special way these heads of delegations, because COVID is still around, but the passion with which they hold FGM is what has dragged them to ensure that they are here. It is actually the first, perhaps, international conference we are holding, and I want to applaud the East African community, the African Union, for taking a bold step to allow this happen. and I can't do it without really recognizing Honorable Dr. Lina Jerry Kilimo, the Chief Administrative Secretary, Ministry of Public Service and Gender from the Republic of Kenya. You are most welcome. From the Republic of Somali, Honorable Anifa Muhammad Ibrahim, the Minister of Women and Human Rights and Development. Honorable, you're most welcome. Thank you for coming in person and leading a big delegation to come and stage a fight against FGM. It shows that we are not about to give up, despite the inconveniences caused by COVID. The Federal Republic of Ethiopia, we want to thank you, Mr. Baleke Dagni, Director of Children's Rights. Never mind if the pronunciation is not proper, but the heart and the love expresses that. So thank you so much for coming with your delegation. You're all most welcome. The United Republic of Tanzania, where you are located, we are exactly there, because you left your homes and converged in a room to listen to us and be part of this. And therefore, I want to thank you and welcome you, Honorable Mwanaidi Ali Hamis, and your delegation. Thank you so much for joining us. The hearts are together. Where there is a will, there is always a way. And I want to thank my colleague and sister, Honorable Sarah Mateke, the Minister of State for Youth and Children Affairs from the Republic of Uganda, for ensuring that she joins in person. Although she knew I was here, my being here was not enough. She had to come to ensure that her constituency, the youth and children who are suffering from this vice, are totally heard and represented. And I want to thank the country representative, UNFPA, Daniel Alimu. Thank you so much for the desire and the heart, the resources, and everything you have always put together to ensure that this vice comes to an end. UNICEF, Dr. Munira A. Safdin, thank you so much for coming, and thank you for the contribution you have made. I want also to recognize and thank the local governments from the practicing communities, both the local government and the cultural leaders from the Sabine and the Amadat. Where are you? Kindly wave. Thank you so much for coming in the numbers. This really shows that we are determined to see FGM erased from the map of Africa. And I want to thank other ministries, departments, and agencies that are here, the representatives of Ministry of Internal Affairs. Just wave to us. Ministry of Internal Affairs, if you're here. Uganda Police Force. I say somebody, yes, the hand should be straight to show the seriousness with which you attach this matter. Exactly, thank you. Ministry of Health is about to come. They had another meeting, and I'm sure they'll be joining us very shortly. Foreign Affairs, thank you for the hospitality. You have always been known for ushering our delegates, and they get the feel that Uganda is a very hospitable country because you show the way. And of course, the host ministry of Gender, Labor, and Social Development, my colleagues, brothers, and sisters, wherever you are located, we thank you so much for the time and efforts you have put to this. And I have the honor to welcome you all to Uganda as we gather once again to take stock of our achievements in addressing female genital mutilation across the borders. I particularly take this pleasure to welcome and thank our counterparts from the Federal Republic of Ethiopia, the Republic of Kenya, the Republic of Somalia, and the United Republic of Tanzania for honoring our invitation. The 2.5 years lapse since we convened in Mombasa, where we committed ourselves to address a cross-border migration which undermines FGM programming in the region, provides an opportunity to reflect on our achievements and draw strategies for the region free of FGM. The government of Uganda has domesticated the Mombasa Declaration, and we have also taken deliberate efforts to implement the Mombasa Plan of Action on ending female genital mutilation at national and local government level with all key stakeholders. And I'm sure this meeting is evident to that effect, because all the personalities and stakeholders that we have mentioned and we agreed on in Mombasa are here represented, and others are here in person. Under the leadership of the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development, resources have been mobilized for the implementation of the Regional Action Plan. This regional cross-border engagement was one of our areas of commitment in addressing cross-border FGM. We celebrate a conducive legal and policy framework for addressing female genital mutilation in Uganda. The Prohibition of Female Genital Mutilation Act 2010 and its regulations were enacted in 2010, and these have provided a strong foundation for the National Policy and Action Plan on elimination of gender-based violence. The Penal Code Act, Cap 120, and the Children's Act amended 2016, and the Sexual Offences Bill, which is still under discussion in Parliament, are part of the legal frameworks that has enabled us to strike a good record before the closure to a lockdown. We were standing at 0.3%. And that was a big achievement. We felt as if FGM was going the following day. We wanted to break the news to the world that in Uganda, it is a zero tolerance for FGM. Under the UN Spotlight Initiative on ending violence against women and girls, and the UN Joint Programming on ending gender-based violence, we have strengthened our efforts and partnerships with the civil society organizations, faith-based organizations, traditional and cultural institutions, and knowledge dissemination and generation of local level commitments towards the abandonment of female genital mutilation. We are currently engaging with elders and the development of the alternative rites of passage to adulthood for the Sabine girls and women. But we are also engaging men in this activity because we want to know who the beneficiary of FGM is and how can we end it together. If it does not benefit anybody, then why should it continue lingering within our institution to undermine the rights of women? Ladies and gentlemen, while the government of Uganda has managed to reduce female genital mutilation prevalence from 1.4 to 0.3% between 2011 and 2016, it is unfortunate to note that female genital mutilation prevalence increased with the age across both Karamoja and Sabine region during the lockdown. We have witnessed female genital mutilation prevalence of nearly 68% among women aged between 45 years and 8% among girls aged between 15 and 24. It is so disheartening that even the women who had already surpassed the threat of female genital mutilation, when the shock came, it eroded all the achievements we had made for about 20 years. The glory with which we were enjoying has been eroded. It makes many of our hearts bleed because women at 45, what would they be looking for? So while this may suggest a positive abandonment of FGM among young girls or in the younger generation, it also reflects the pressure of uncut married women are currently facing, including emerging forms of discrimination in marriage and a shift towards medicalization of FGM. We note that the practice of female genital mutilation is becoming complex on a sad note. The introduction of laws prohibiting female genital mutilation has ushered in a new dynamic. Previously, FGM in our elder traditional times was a highly celebrated event and activity. Today, cutting sessions are conducted in hiding and cross-border for fear for prosecution, and in some instances, under medicalized conditions. Therefore, it is difficult to ascertain its magnitude. And one would wonder if they are doing it in hiding, if they have even gone for medicalization, how did you note it has shot up to about 56% right now? The medical reports and records of women who are going to deliver were indicating that there were recent cuts of women in the Middle Ages, which shows that the practice had gone underground, but since they could not deliver from home, the medical practitioners were able to give us this information, and we are lucky at least they keep data. This is a wake-up call to the bitter realities and challenges of negative masculinity that we have to get prepared to deal with at all levels and devise new strategies and approaches. Distinguished delegates and partners, the regional study on female genital mutilation launched recently clearly identified existing gaps, including unidentified attention put on addressing the root causes of female genital mutilation. Some of these root causes are not yet adequately understood and addressed due to the limited information and knowledge on the female genital mutilation as a practice. COVID-19 has also come along with new challenges, including the lockdowns and the closure of schools, where our girls were finding refuge. The long session of idleness in communities, as well as limitations of law enforcement, have further exacerbated the problem. Noting that most of the FGM practicing areas are vast and hard to reach with difficult terrain, we need new approaches, renewed zeal, because the situation is still demanding. On the part of Uganda and Kenya, the Pokot community in Karamoja region and Sebei, those border Uganda and Kenya along Mount Elgon region, and actually in Uganda, those are the only practicing communities. 5 of them we have against the 65 communities that are in Uganda. So our cross-border movements have posed a big challenge, and I believe this is similar to other border points in the region. The apparent lack of common regulatory regime and laws make it difficult for the individual countries to ensure compliance with their respective laws governing the practice. This is one of the reasons why the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development has adopted new strategies, in particular, the male engagement strategy, the youth engagement, and the working with elders to define and support the alternative rites of passage for girls and women into adulthood with respect. Ladies and gentlemen, we therefore have to build more efficient coordination mechanism at both national and local government level, as well as cross-border social media engagement and physical meetings between the neighboring districts. Ladies and gentlemen, the achievement of total elimination of female genital mutilation by 2030 can only be achieved if we put our efforts together to re-identify, redefine, reconceptualize the new methods and approaches. Distinguished delegates, we have therefore gathered here to deliberate on the challenges of female genital mutilation at a critical time in history, and the voices of everyone matter in this dialogue so that we emerge with workable solutions. We are blessed to have the leaders of all the partner states alive here and live on media. And that alone should show to the governments which we represent the commitment that women really attach, and the leaders of these lead agencies attach to concerns of FGM. I am convinced that by the end of these 2 days meeting, we shall collectively reflect on the most critical and urgent steps to take collective and individually efforts in order to eliminate the challenges of cross-border female genital mutilation, including cutting. It is my hope and my conviction that we shall fulfill deliberations which will enable us to identify the root causes and constraints that require urgent attention. I once again welcome you to Uganda, and I am happy that when we were in Ouagadougou, as I proposed this idea of engaging ourselves at a cross-border level, we are happy that Ethiopia, Somalia, took a lot of interest and ensured that they join us, although they are not necessarily in the East African Federation. But we are still neighbors, brothers and sisters who perceive these matters and who feel pain to realize or note that our children unwillingly are forced into mutilation. For us as women, we stand in solidarity to ensure that FGM comes to an end. How about men? Answer us. Are you with us? Are you with us? Yes, you are. Thank you so much. While all of you are together, I am sure nothing else will fail us. Now I have the honor and pleasure to declare the meeting officially opened. Stay safe, stay well. God bless you.
Many thanks, Honorable Minister. I thought she deserved a more thunderous round of applause, members. You see, it has been a long time coming. We've put too much time into preparing this. And if you get to a moment where it is officially opened, it's a moment to celebrate. It means the deliberations can now go on. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to present to you a youth-led culture troupe from Kapchora. For those who have heard about Kapchora, you've probably heard about it when Uganda won the gold medal at the Olympics or in any other marathon, because we have had very prominent guys, Cheptegei and the team. We have a youth culture troupe from that area that is going to be making a presentation for us right now. I would like to hand over the floor to them. Once again, we want to thank the team that is joining us for this conference online. I can see a huge number of people attending the conference online. I would like to welcome all of you and recognize your presence there. Thank you so much for joining us. Kapchorwa district is in a part of Uganda where FGM is still high in terms of prevalence. And therefore, the presentation that we are going to be seeing here is directly related to the efforts towards eliminating FGM. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Team from Kapchorwa, another round of applause for them. Done a great job there. Ladies and gentlemen, At this juncture, allow me invite the UNFPA East and Southern African Regional Office head to speak to us, and we are connecting to them online. So the IT team, please, can we have that before we break off for our tea? Let's have one more presentation, then we shall break off. Oh, yes, we hear you. Please go ahead.
Marriage certificate. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. addressing social norms, societal norms, and cultural norms, especially men and boys involved. In all these efforts, men and boys are critical.